Asian side.
In this video, we're going to talk about everything north of Galata Bridge, that part that you're seeing on your map called Beyoğlu. And we're also going to talk about the Asian side of Istanbul, Üsküdar and Kadıköy. Galata Tower, built in 1348 when the Galata area was a Genoese trading colony, is the centerpiece of the Galata neighborhood for which it's named. There's a lot of shops, a lot of really good restaurants. You could spend an hour or two around here. And there's plenty of cats. The Galata neighborhood's very peaceful. It's a good place to come and relax and enjoy the quiet, because up next is Istiklal. Istiklal Street is a massively busy, noisy, and crowded pedestrian walkway, but you gotta see it. It's just uphill from Galata as you walk towards Taksim Square.
I'm on Istiklal Street, which runs between Galata Tower and Taksim Square. It's basically a massive pedestrian street with the iconic trolley that runs back and forth between Galata and Taksim Square. And Istiklal Street's got a ton of places to go shopping, amazing Turkish food restaurants. This is where you can find all those little ice cream shows that people often show in their YouTube videos. And yeah, it's always pretty busy with a lot of foot traffic. I really love these side streets where you can find these kind of out of the way Turkish tea shops, coffee shops, restaurants. So yeah, Istiklal is definitely a must-see if you're gonna go north of the Golden Horn.
Istiklal has a lot of musical acts. People play out here for money, and a lot of them draw large crowds. There's plenty of cats to pet. Not far from Istiklal Street is Para Palace Hotel. It's a famous hotel. Agatha Christie used to write here, so did Ernest Hemingway. It was a stop on the Orient Express train from Paris to Istanbul. So there's a ton of history here. The most famous guest that used to stay here regularly was the founder of the Turkish Republic, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, so you can still see his room that he stayed in. Also, just a couple blocks away from Istiklal Street is this little coffee shop slash bar slash restaurant that we stumbled across one day. It's just got a really cool decor. Again, if you need a cool place to just chill and relax after walking around in Istanbul all day, we recommend this place. And note the Instagrammability of said decor. So now we've arrived at Taksim Square. You can see the trolley tracks on the ground. We can see here the National Monument, built in 1928 to commemorate the 5-year anniversary of the foundation of the Turkish Republic. Taksim Square has been the site of a lot of protests over the years.
Right now we are in the famous historical port of Karaköy. You can see that this is a place where boats arrive, and they have for hundreds of years. This is a great place to cross over to the Asian side, which is right behind me. Karaköy is at the end of Galata Bridge, across the Golden Horn from Eminönü, which is another port where you can cross to the Asian side on ferry. And there's plenty of really cool economical restaurants here in Karaköy. They all have a great view of the Bosphorus and the Golden Horn.
Dolmabahce Palace is the place where Mustafa Kemal Atatürk passed away. Behind me is Dolmabahce Palace, constructed between 1890 and 1894, so right before the fall of the Ottoman Empire. And it's built with a European Baroque style. Now it's a museum, and the cost to get in is about 300 lira per person, so that's $17 US. Come take a look if you're interested in that aspect of the history. For this next neighborhood, we're gonna go back south of the Golden Horn. Balat is a kind of colorful, artsy, bohemian neighborhood on the south bank of the Golden Horn. You can get there by getting the 99 or 99A buses from the Eminönü bus station. It's definitely worth the trip. You could spend a few hours here just walking around. Also, just feast your eyes on all that Instagrammability. More cats. Okay, so now we're going to leave the European side and we're going to head over to the Asian side of the city, the Anatolian side. You can get over there by bridge, by ferry, by subway, by taxi. Here we're arriving in the port of Karaköy.
Everything you said we already knew, more or less.
Well, here's something that you didn't know. 2 of those special atomic bombs haven't gone off.
Karaköy is another place that's got a lot of walkable, nice looking streets with a wide variety of different food and shops and restaurants. It's got kind of a young, vibrant university atmosphere to it, plus just lots of cats. Kuzguncuk is in the Üsküdar area, a little bit closer to the bridge, and it's a nice, also kind of like a little mini Balat, but on the Anatolian side. Awesome architecture, lots of places to just enjoy a coffee or a tea. The last place we're going to talk about is the Prince's Islands in English. They're called Adalar in Turkish, which just means the islands. You can get a ferry for 35 lira a person, and it's about a 2-hour ferry ride, I think. Maybe an hour and a half, I can't remember. You can leave either from Eminönü or from Karaköy, so either end of the Galata Bridge, you can buy your tickets. The ferries are really comfortable. They don't move around too much. There's a little snack bar below where you can buy like chips and tea, water, things like that. And going to the islands, there's just amazing views. There's a few different islands to choose from. We chose the last one, which is Büyükada, and it's a lovely place. There's hardly any cars, very walkable, or you can rent a bike.
Definitely, if you are in Istanbul, you have to visit Princess Island because it's so beautiful. You can see that it's very colorful, and obviously rent a bike. It's so cheap and it's very nice. If you have short time, it's a very good idea.
Yeah.
What's your overall opinion of Istanbul?
My overall opinion of Istanbul, I think Istanbul is maybe the greatest city in the whole world.
Yeah. Istanbul have everything.
Yeah, yeah.
How much time would you recommend spending here?
A year? I mean, you could spend a month here just being a full-time tourist and not see everything, you know? I'd say at least give it a week. If you're going to come here and make it really worth it, at least a week if possible.
Yeah, Istanbul is so big and definitely you need a lot of time.
Yeah, it's huge, yeah.
Yeah. How are the people?
For the most part, people are amazing. I mean, it's a big mix of people from all over the country as well as people born and raised in Istanbul. So you get those like grumpy, easily agitated city people, like in any big city, like New York, of course. You know, I'm sure in London, there's people like that, right? Mumbai, Cairo, Tokyo, people who are used to living in a city and living in close proximity with a lot of other people tend to be assholes, right? So you're going to get a lot of that big city attitude, right? But for the most part, I mean, people are friendly. They're not going to like...
Yeah, it's because a lot of people that live here is from different cities or different countries, and they don't have that love for Istanbul, you know, that it's exactly like New York, that a lot of people live in New York, but anyone loves New York. And it's the same here. But people is very friendly. Turkish people is very friendly always.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The nature of the Turkish culture in general is very hospitable and friendly,
Yeah. Is it safe and clean?
No and no. I mean...
It's safe. I think it looks very dangerous, but we didn't have problems.
We haven't had problems, but it's a good idea to keep your hand on your wallet, especially on public transportation. You know, pickpocketing I think is a big deal, and maybe being robbed in a dark alley at night, of course, like in any big city. That's a problem. Is it safe? For the most part, I think for a big city, sure, as long as you're in the tourist areas, you're good. Now, is it clean?
No.
Not at all. Not at all. I love it. I love a raw, dirty city,
Yeah.
right? But it's definitely, I'm not going to use the word clean to describe this city.
Yeah. But it's so beautiful.
Yeah. It is beautiful, yeah. It's raw. Let's say it.
How is traffic and public transportation?
Oh no. Let's see. Yeah, it's terrible. It's not as bad as other cities we've lived in, of course. It's not as bad as Bogota, which we also love.
Yeah.
But
New York.
New York, yeah, totally. There's plenty of options for public transportation here. That is impressive. There's the little trains. There's the subway, right? The
Yeah.
metro. There's ferries, buses, right? As well as like taxis. And you can walk all over the tourist areas. To be honest, I mean, you can walk from the Blue Mosque to Taksim Square. Maybe 2 hours, but you can do it. So as far as the touristy areas, it is very walkable. But if you want to come to some place like where we're at now, Balat, for example, you have to take a bus, and it's a little crowded.
Yeah.
So it's a city whose population has grown much faster than its infrastructure. So, hi, kitty.
Show the little cat.
Show the cat. Here's the little guy. Here's the little guy. Ooh, kitty. Çok kediler var. Okay, so let's see. Should I move over here? There we go. So yeah, traffic jams are horrible. Everyone who lives here who has to commute to work says it takes like maybe 2.5 hours one way. So then 2 or 2.5 hours the other way. Traffic is notoriously horrible here if you're going like really long distance. So
Yeah.
yeah, keep that in mind.
Yeah, but there are a lot of options. And how expensive is it?
Ooh, man. Not expensive.
No.
Yeah. Again, there's some really touristy upscale restaurants where you can definitely spend a lot of money, but for the most part, it's
We eat every day in a buffet for $8.
yeah,
For both.
in a buffet. Yeah, for
Yeah.
both of us, and it's a lot of food. It's really good quality.
Yeah.
Look for those little buffets, especially in the Taksim area. You can save a lot of money there.
Yeah.
In street food in general, like the simit, that little Turkish bagel, it's like 20 cents, for one of those.
Yeah.
And they're really good. So you can really get by on a very limited budget here.
Yeah. Do they accept credit cards?
Yeah, they're really good at accepting credit cards here. Yeah. Maybe when you buy stuff in the street, it has to be with cash, but I think most establishments that have a building, right, will take credit cards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do keep some cash on you though. Yeah.
Yeah,
For
sometimes.
sure. Maybe 200, 300 lira is a good idea,
Yeah.
just in case.
What are some day trips you can take from here?
Do you wanna?
We went yesterday to Princess Island. It's very nice. We definitely recommend that if you have time here, you can go to Princess Island.
Bosphorus tours are pretty cheap as well. We didn't do any, but we saw some that were really cheap for
Yeah.
like a whole 8 hours. They'll take you all up and down the Bosphorus and the Golden Horn. So, yeah, really cool.
What are some negative things about this place?
Well, we mentioned the high possibility of crime and the dirtiness.
Yeah.
So,
And also there are a lot of street people and sometimes you can see people eating from the trash. And obviously that is very sad. But yeah, I think that is the bad thing.
yeah.
And can you drink water from the tap?
No, we don't recommend drinking water from the tap.
Where is the best place to stay in the city?
We recommend the Taksim area.
Yeah.
Is the best place. It's a great location and it's not that expensive. to be honest. So yeah, definitely Taksim is our recommendation. That's where we always stay in Istanbul.
Yeah, that's very beautiful place to stay.
Yeah.
And the last question is, what languages are useful?
Yeah, obviously Turkish is good,
Turkish. Yeah.
naturally. English, of course. You know, when you're in the touristy area, a lot of people speak English as well as other languages like Spanish. A lot of people have spoken
Yeah,
Spanish.
but just in Grand Bazaar.
Yeah.
In Grand Bazaar, people speak, I think,
Everything.
everything.
That's it. So we hope you've enjoyed learning about Istanbul with us. Don't forget to like.
And subscribe.
Bye-bye.
We just found a Turkish cat farm. It's a good crop this year.